One of the problems with recruiting for investment banking is not the knowledge or skills you acquire, but the access to talk with real investment bankers to put your best foot forward. Our sponsor, WSO Academy, can provide those connections with 60 head mentors who are finance professionals at top firms like Goldman, Centerview, and JP Morgan. Imagine being able to get on the phone within 24 hours with one of the Academy's 1,300 mentors right before a critical interview. Get on the waitlist for WSO Academy today by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting wallstreetoasis.com/academy.
What types of debt other than revolver debt can companies use to fund LBOs? We'll find out today on Investment Banking Insights. All right. Welcome to Investment Banking Insights. This is the only show dedicated to helping you learn both the technical and non-technical aspects of the investment banking process. Hope you're doing well today. My name is Alex Mason. I am your host. We're talking about debt today, specifically in the leveraged buyout context. Now, last episode, we talked about revolver debt and all the different idiosyncrasies related to that type of debt, why it is typically attractive for companies to use revolvers when they can. But guess what? You can't always use revolvers. And kind of like a person using a credit card versus taking out a mortgage, there's different debt for different types of activities. And a company wouldn't necessarily use a revolver for buying another company, for example. It's just a lot of capital, from my understanding. Revolvers typically wouldn't have as much capital lent out as other types of debt. However, they can be useful for certain situations. Now, let's go ahead and turn our attention to other types of debt, moving down the seniority chain of debt just a little bit, but not too much. Let's go ahead and now talk about another type of loan that can be used in a leveraged buyout called term loans. Now, there are actually two different classifications of term loans. There's term loan A and term loan B. I don't know who comes up with these names, but pretty bland names. But hey, that's what they're called. So as far as term A loans, these loans have pretty low interest rates, but they're not as low as revolver debt. However, they are still low enough to be pretty attractive to companies. Now, one good thing about term A loans is that unlike revolvers, they can be amortized over time using straight line amortization. And remember this all the way back from our early days studying the basics of accounting together. Amortization is literally just spreading out the costs over time. So that's what's going on here. You can actually spread the cost out with these types of loans, and that makes them attractive to borrowers. Now, like revolvers, term A loans, they're senior secured notes that are issued by banks. So they're kind of like the more conservative level type of debt that's out there. And then also similar to revolvers, these types of loans can have maintenance covenants. And remember what that is. A maintenance covenant means that a company must maintain some type of performance metric or some level of liquidity or some leverage ratio, whatever the case may be. It varies from contract to contract, of course, but that must be in place in order for the debt to be lent. Now, what are some of the differences? Well, unlike revolver loans, term A loans and actually also term B loans sometimes do have call protection. Now remember this concept of call protection, we just talked about it. Call protection protects the lender from having the borrower pay back money before the lender gets the chance to collect a good amount of interest from that security. So sometimes you will see call protection on this type of loan type. Now, the main difference between term B loans and term A loans is that, well, term B loans have higher interest rates. Now, they're still considered more senior debt than other types of debt, which we'll discuss in a future episode, but that's really the main difference, just plain and simple, just higher levels of interest expense. And also for term B loans, you might have a slightly higher or slightly longer duration rather. So for term A loans, the duration is typically 4 to 6 years, whereas for term B loans, you might see anywhere from 4 to 8 years in terms of the length of the loan. So those are some of the similarities and differences of term loan debt, A and B types, versus revolvers. And that pretty much covers the main conservative types of standard debt that could be issued out there. Now, what we're going to talk about in the next episode is other types of debt, some more unconventional debt that might be used in a leveraged buyout. So join me next time as we cover that. But for now, I hope you're having an amazing day. Go out, have an incredible week. Whether you're recruiting, whether you're just getting going, wherever you're at in your journey, I just want to encourage you and let you know that you can do this. All right? So my name is Alex Mason. I'm your host, and I'll see you next time on Investment Banking Insights.